Hi everyone, welcome back to the second part of the masterclass. Here we go into the more practical aspects of the research and the designing. Okay, so I believe we've been able to conduct our competitors analysis. So I'll be reading out some of the things the participants were able to conduct or were able to write out in terms of computers analysis. Okay, so there was a particular example that someone mentioned. The person was like, that site had exactly what we're trying to build. So if you find something like that, it's always very important that you take note of it. So she mentioned arts major, yeah, that it had exactly what we wanted to build, like this entire art online marketplace for artworks. Okay, so she mentioned some pros from some of the sites she was able to analyze, right? And some of the pros means okay, advantages, good things you could learn from them. Okay, so in terms of your direct competitors, you need to learn about their pros and their cons. You need to take okay their pros, what do they have, what are they doing well, and what can I copy from them. And their cons is okay, what are they not doing so great that I can improve on so that I can get their users to come and use my own platform. So the pros she mentioned are like one, like they segment their art by sections or categories. That's a very important one. It's a very good one. And another one is they offer free shipping. The site has beautiful aesthetics. You can search by price, color. You can search by artist. And someone else mentioned that a pro from one of the sites he saw is that they actually are like a Shopify for artists, such a way that artists can have their own web page, their own shareable web site from that particular site that they can share with people to just come and buy directly from their site. So that's a really good one. Some of the cons you mentioned or like people mentioned are that in one particular site, they didn't put sizes of the artwork, they didn't put description, they didn't put artist name, right? And there was one other site that didn't even have like sign up button. Like there was no way for you to sign up. You could just come and view. You can't buy this artwork. So those are some things you can note, and you say that okay, yes, I'm going to work on this when I'm building my own site. So it's very important to know all of that. So for indirect competitors are competitors that are not necessarily doing the same thing you want to do, but are in the same space. For instance, as I mentioned before, like an online marketplace that already exists, maybe not for artworks but for like other products like groceries or electronics and all of that. You can copy some ideas from them. Okay, so mention that in those artwork there are a lot of pros, like their layouts are always really good, like their grid system and hierarchy system. They really show okay what art is more important or what products is more important. So it's important to like get ideas from those indirect competitors as well to be able to use it on your own site. So that's like what competitors analysis is about, and I believe some of us have been able to write it down on paper. So you can share with me the pros and cons that you were able to write down in the comment section. Okay, for your direct competitors, you can list them out, who your direct competitors were and who your indirect competitors were, and write down the pros and cons. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, as I said, we're going into the very practical section, is creating a design brief. Creating a design brief. So some of you might want to ask, so what is a design brief? What is a design brief? So I like using Figma for most of my like design work because it's a very collaborative tool. So I'll be using Figma to just highlight some of these things that we'll be doing henceforth, even the design itself. You don't necessarily need to go on Figma at this point. You can still make use of your paper and pen to just write down some things, right? Until we go into the design section itself. So I'm using Figma to document my things because it's like I want all my work or my processes to always be in one, like on one board. I always like that. Okay, so what is a design brief? So this was a definition given by Figma Learn Team. And so the design brief is a document used to outline the key elements and deliverables for your creative work. So just take for instance a maybe a piece of paper, a document, a Google Doc, like a notepad where you outline like the key elements or the deliverables, like what you have to deliver for a particular work, right? A creative work. So it's helpful to document all of these things so that you'll be able to reference that particular document throughout your design process so that you don't lose focus, and so that at every point in time, even as the project expands or evolves or scales, you can always get clarity on where you're coming from and where you need to go to. Okay, so what does a design brief contain? So it contains a problem statement that should be resolved by the completed design. It contains the audience that you're targeting. So take all of this at the back of your mind because you'll be working on them on your paper. Okay, it takes into consideration the constraints, the limitations, and to the work around and with, right, and the format of the final designs, or yeah, or timeline, or the research process you should be carrying out. So take note of all of this in details, right, so that before you start working on a project, it's very important that you document all of these things, right, so that you don't lose track of where you're going to. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so in this activity, we'll be creating a design brief for this particular project that we want to work on. I promise it's going to be a fun exercise, but you need to really understand what we are trying to create so that you know how to go about doing yours. So I'm going to share an example of what mine looks like so that you'll be able to do yours. Okay, so an example design brief. This is what it looks like. Okay, so the first is the problem. Okay, I wrote there that we need to design a digital marketplace for painters or artists that are looking to showcase and sell their artworks, and for buyers that are looking to purchase these artworks, or art lovers that are looking to purchase these artworks. So the interface is supposed to allow both artists and buyers to manage their transactions properly. Okay, so the audience we'll be working with are, from my research, I think we'll be working with two audiences: the artists and the art lovers. So artists who want to sell their artwork seamlessly, and art lovers who want to find and purchase artwork with ease. And now constraints. So we've been constrained to make sure that the design is a web page, right? We're designing for the web, not like a mobile app, right? So but even if it's going to be a web page, it has to have like mobile responsive screens for those who want to look at it on a mobile browser. So deliverables are a web page design in a Figma file and the layout for desktop and mobile browsers. Okay, the timeline, were to design this and make it ready in 1 hour. And for our research, all things we did, we visited like existing online art marketplace and galleries. I looked at other websites that targeted individuals and companies working in the e-commerce industry or like the online digital marketplace industry. Then I sent out a survey to potential audiences. So that's like typically what a design brief. As you see, like it's brief, it's concise, but it shows you okay problems you're solving, problem you're trying to solve, your audience, your existing or potential customers. Okay, the constraints are like okay, what can't you do? What are you limited to? Like, are you constrained in terms of size, the format, the timeline, the colors, and a lot more? The deliverables, like what format would reach your audience the best. And as I said, for me, to web page, for you can decide to make it a mobile app. Okay, so the timeline is like the time you want to spend, you have to spend on this project, and when it must be completed. Okay, you can also outline like milestones. Then for your research, so you need to outline like all the different people that have done something like this before, like how you are planning to talk to like existing or potential customers. You need to outline all of that. So so it's a design brief, right? Problem, audience, constraint, deliverables, timeline, research. Some people tend to add a lot more like information to it. That's also fine. But the major point you shouldn't forget is that it outlines, or it helps you outline like the entire project, so you can always refer to it as you go on. So I want you to note this down on your paper and write them out. Problem, your audience, the constraints, the deliverables, the timeline you have, then all the research process you'll be taking or you've taken. So you need to write that down. So as I said, if you're done with all your tasks or activities, at the end of this video or in the description, the video description, I'll be sharing my email with you so that you can just submit or send me what you've done so far. You can just take pictures of your papers or your notes that I can get to see, or you can also like drop it in the comment section, whichever one works best. So that's a design brief. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is user persona. So let's get through that. Okay, all right, next thing. All right, before I move to user persona, there's something called mood board. Okay, I'll just describe it briefly. A mood board is like a collection of sample images, colors, or other products that would help express the desire or aesthetics of the planned project. A mood board is something to set your mood. Like it helps you in conveying like some visual ideas, right? For your project using some other visual elements that are out there. Okay, so this is a blank canvas. We want to fill with like different things that can help set our mood. So for instance, like researching for artworks. So sometimes what I do is I go to somewhere like I go to pay something like Pinterest and just try to get some mood boards that are there, right? Or I can try to create my own mood board. I've pinched places like Pinterest, Behance, Dribble. All those are like sites that can really help when it comes to creating mood boards or all of that. To getting inspirations, getting some of those things that will help you set the mood for what you're trying to design. That's what a mood board is for. Okay, so I just want to give you an example so you get the picture. So you get the picture. All right, just connecting to the internet so that I can do that. Okay, Pinterest.com is a very interesting site. You get to see like different pins or like posts that people have created. Right, so what I want to search for is art. Right, so I'm searching for art. Let's see the different things I would get. So let's search for art. Okay, so these are like different artworks. So you can decide to pick some sample from here, or you can decide to like look for birds, right? Mood boards that has been set in like by different people that show like art, or I can help you set the mood for like creating something related to art. So these are like typical examples. So you can just look at any of them and use them as a mood board. Another site you can go to is Dribble. Dribble is spelled DRIBBLE. And another site you can go to is Behance. Behance is spelled BEHANCE. So Behance.net. Okay, I'll put some of these links on the description of this video so that you get to see them. All right, so what am I searching for? Arts. I'm searching for art. Just want to see an example, like different boards people have created for artwork to help me set the mood. So looking at like different things people have created would help you understand, okay, how best to go about this. Okay, like what are the different things you should take note of. So it's important to have all of that in mind. So just looking at inspirations and gathering some of them, okay, in terms of gathering colors, in terms of like gathering colors together and all of that. So it's important to just look at what like different people have been able to put together in terms of mood boards, or you can put your own together as well if you like that. So that's for artboard or for mood boards, right? So this is, yeah, that's like pretty much what it's about. Okay, so next thing, as I said, I want to go into is user persona. Okay, so what is a user persona? Sorry, I didn't correct this. All right, so the better the designer understands the target audience, like the more valuable the software will be. It's very, very important that you understand who your target audiences are, right? It helps you, like having a mental picture of who your audiences are. It's very important. You need to really understand what exactly your audience wants, or your typical user, your potential audience wants. Right, so personas are like a generalized portrait of a specific user category based on your research and observation. So from our research and observation, we were able to come about having two different user category. One is the artist, and the other one are the art lovers. So those are our specific user categories that we found out during research. So creating personas, like portraits, like properties or features that these user categories have, that can now be used to generalize or be used to represent the like every other user that fall under that category, is what a user persona is, right? So they have to check whether the software or the product correspond with its stated goals. So here are some of the parameters you need, like when you are creating a user persona. So one is demographical data, like location and all that. You need the age and the gender as well, occupation, goals and tasks, motivation, the fears, expectations. The environment. What type of environment are you typically looking at that they interact with on a day-to-day basis? How vast are they with using technology tools? You need to understand all of those things as parameters for user personas, right? And the task, like, okay, what task is the user expecting to get done with the help of the software you're trying to create? Okay, what exactly is it, what problem is the user trying to solve with this software that you're trying to design, or with this product you're trying to design? So that's what a typical user persona should be. These are examples. I'll take the first user category. We have the artist, right? So Frank Chooks is like, you are You can use any name, you can use any image just to represent, okay, this is a user category, right? And these are the parameters. Okay, so Franchix is an artist, he's 35 years old, he studied economics, he's single, occupation artist, lives in Benin, and is a tech literate, so meaning he can use phone well. Okay, his bio says he currently lives in Benin, he works as a full-time artist, is currently single and works from home. And his core needs basically, why does he need this product we are trying to build? So he needs to get his artwork to more audience. Okay, he needs to find people with similar interest in art that he can share his artwork with. Or this should be his similar people he can share his artwork views with, right? And lastly, he needs to get more money to sustain his livelihood. So these are his core needs, right? These, if you realize at any point that the product you're trying to solve is not solving any of these needs, then it means you are not yet solving, right, what your user needs. So if frustrations are the little, or he has little or no customer base for his art, he has no money to rent out a shop or to put his work in an art gallery. And when it comes to like comparison like of where to put his artworks and all of that, like not so much are available, like limited. Looking at his location in Benin, right, it doesn't really have so much, right, to compare and say, okay, this is better than this, or I can do this and be better. But if there was a platform where he could put his artwork and get enough users that would pay him more money to sustain his livelihood, he wouldn't mind having that. Okay, so he loves to paint and he loves creating artworks, and he does all of that from his home. He's creative, he's a thinker, he's calm. For payment medium, according to the research, right, you're creating this persona based on your research. Okay, he said he would like to have subscription fee, right, and maybe commission per art. You want these two options to be available for him to choose from. So subscription fee, okay, pay the subscription to start using the platform, or he pays a commission per every artwork that he sells. Okay, so any of these two is okay by him. So for platform, okay, website, mobile app is fine with both. So that's for the artist, right? This like a typical person. You can use this to represent every other artist that will be coming to your platform. So for the next one, it is the art lover. All right, so Joker Donald, she's 27, she has BS in microbiology, she's single, she works as a human resource personnel, she lives in Lagos, she's also a high-tech literate. She currently lives in Lagos and she works as a human resource personnel. She's currently single and likes to go out with friends on break. Her core needs are to find artworks by her favorite artists and by category. Okay, and she also needs to find people with similar interests in art that she can share her views with. Also, the price of the service is very important. So she's very particular about price as well. Her frustrations, the price is high to get some of the quality art. Okay, she doesn't have the luxury of time visiting art galleries, and in terms of comparing or contrasting, okay, choice in terms of artwork, okay, being able to see a lot of artworks and then choose and compare, okay, which one do I now want to get, she doesn't have that as well. A payment medium said cash or check or digital payment, either one works for her. She's also open to having a website or mobile app. Then she said, I'm used to shopping online. She's used to online service, and she usually does online shopping from e-commerce sites or apps. So definitely creating a digital marketplace would not be new to her. She's an introvert, she's a thinker, and she's also calm. So this is what an art, like sorry, a user persona contains. The look and feel can be different. How you decide to design your user persona is up to you, right? But it's important to take note of like all of these parameters that I listed earlier. But how you design it is up to you. This for this particular design, shout out to the Figma community. So I got this particular design or the like particular look right from the Figma community. You can also check it out and get some resources there. But in the major things to look out for are the parameters in it. As I said, the look and feel, how you decide to design your user persona is up to you. You can even decide to write it down on paper. It doesn't need to actually look all fancy and all. Just take note of all the parameters and list them out. So I would like you to take note of this, and I'll also be looking forward to it in what you'll be sending to me, your submission. You have to create your user personas, right? Okay. So please take note of that. All right. So what next? What next? So user behavior. I think it's almost similar to that. So moving up next to user flow. Okay, so user behavior diagram and slash user flow. So that's together. Okay, to user behavior diagram or user flow. So let's go to that. What I mean when I say user flow. Okay, so everybody think about a flow chart. One way or the other, maybe primary school, secondary school, we have come across maybe working with flow charts and all of that. So basically, user flows are just like that. User flow is a part taken by a prototypical user, right? Okay, so any user coming onto the website or the app, what part would they take? What would be their flow like through the app, okay, to complete a particular task? Okay, let me just keep going. So the user flow takes them from the entry point through a set of steps towards a successful outcome and final action, such as purchasing a product. Okay, so user comes into an app, logs in, sign up, choose the product, check out, pays the money, then boom, person gets the item delivered. So the step they take, the path they take, right, towards from the entry point of the platform, the app, to when they can get a successful outcome, like a final action or transaction completed, right? So all of those things. So before you can create a user flow, you need to identify all the pages that would be needed to be on the platform itself. And some of the things mentioned on Masterclass as homepage, login, sign up, artist profile, payment or checkout page, art details page, about page, contact us page, product review page. Then maybe being able to follow an artist page. So those are some of the things mentioned. So you can also please list out some pages you think we should have on this particular product we're trying to design according to like what you think. So just list them out in the comment section. Okay, so we have landing page, sign up page, users required to sign up, user email, password. Okay, user is required to login page, recover password page, art listing page, edit profile page, add details page, add filter page, search page, profile page, seller's terms and conditions page, add an artwork page, create seller account page, place a buy request page. So all of these pages you need to list them out. It's in listing these pages out that you then know, okay, how the user would, what path the user would take from moving from one page or one action to another. Okay, so this is what a typical user flow looks like. As I said, it's a flow, just a normal flow chart. If you remember flow chart, then you understand how this works as well. All right, so this is for so this one, artist. So this for my artist, user tab artist, the touch point, creating profile, uploading work and earning. Okay, so the first one, like, okay, a landing page, right? I have the landing page. Then when the artist comes to landing page, what does the artist need to do first? The artist needs to register. Once it clicks on register, it sees the single sign up page, right? On sign up, he is asked to like choose a method of sign up. Which method doesn't want subscription based, or doesn't want to pay commission per art. According to our user personas, the artist mentioned that is open to any of these two options. Okay, so if it's commission, then he just selects that, puts his details, and it goes into his dashboard. Okay, if it's subscription, right, it makes payments and it goes into his dashboard. There's also login page. Okay, single login goes to his artist dashboard. Okay, and from his dashboard, you can update profile, you can upload an artwork, you can view his earnings. If he clicks on update profile, he goes to his profile page and can update his profile there. If he clicks on upload an artwork, he can upload a new art. And if he clicks on view earnings, you can go to his earnings page and you can withdraw his money. Okay, so like this is like a typical flow. It might be much longer than this. As you keep thinking of new things or new pages or all of that, you can keep expanding on your user flow. But it's important that you at least have something on ground to start with. Okay. Yeah, because if you think about some more buttons or actions or pages, all of them can as well come in here. So this is like an artist, then the art lover flow. Okay, art lover registration, search, and purchase. All right, so basically from the landing page, they can search. Okay, from the landing page, they can register, they can log in. Okay, from registration, they can sign up. They see the sign up page. From sign up, they can search. Okay, after searching, they see the art listing page. From the art listing page, what can they see? They can see the art details, or they can see the artist profile. From art details, they can like an artwork, they can share an artwork, or they can buy an artwork. That's checkout button. Okay. Checkout, they can decide to make payments. If they don't want to make payments, they go back to like landing page and search from the beginning again. If they want to make a payment, they get a successful notification that they purchased the artwork. Okay. From the landing page, they can get to see their favorites, categories, can get to see their profile and all of that. So this is just explaining what a user flow looks like. So you can just take your paper and pen as well and just try to draw out what you think a typical user flow for your product, for your what you're working on right now would look like. I would really love to see what you come up with. All right, other examples of what a user flow can look like is this. Right, this was also done by someone. Okay, so homepage, from homepage, user clicks artwork, user clicks artist, user click options, search. So it's also another way you can draw out a user flow. Okay, so like just make sure like there is a starting point, right, entry point, and when like they finish a successful action, right, or that successful page, right, it's important to have that beginning and the ending point, then all of the parts the person would take, the user would take. Yeah, that's what a user flow is about. This is another example as well. Okay, splash screen, create an account. So yes, this is another example, right? So check out, confirm, or continue shopping. So all of those things is, I believe we now understand like what user flows are. I may not be able to go so in depth into it, but yeah, we get the idea. We get the idea. All right, so let's proceed. Okay, the user flow diagram. So the next thing is sketching. That's like our ideation process. So what we'll be using for our sketching or ideation process is something called the crazy 8 method. So this crazy 8 method, you make use of a crazy 8 timer. So what I want you to do now is get an A4 paper. Okay, get an A4 paper, fold it into 8 sections. Okay, fold it into 8 sections. All right, after folding it into 8 sections, you are to come up with 8 great ideas. Right, that was a typo. 8 great ideas by limiting your time sketch in each box to a maximum of 1 minute. All right, take an A4 paper, fold it into 8 sections. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 8 sections. Okay, so you have to come up with 8 ideas, 8 ideas, 8 sketches. But in coming up with these 8 sketches, you don't have the luxury of time. On each box, you mustn't spend more than 1 minute. So I'll be giving us that task now. I'll be starting the timer from my end. So I want us all to keep designing or keep sketching with me. All right, so let's do this. All right, starting the timer. You can decide to start the timer as well from your end. Just set for crazy 8 interval timer. Crazy 8 interval timer. That's what you need to set for. Crazy 8 interval timer. So this is what it looks like. As you see, 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. All right. So first sketch. Timer started. First sketch. You have 1 minute on each sketch. You have 8 sketches to do. You have to spend 1 minute on each. This was a very interesting task when we're doing it physically. It is really, really fun. So I want you to do it. Okay. Just keep sketching. Just sketching out, okay, what you think each like different pages should look like. Just sketch. Or it could be your login page, it could be your home page, it could be your checkout page. Just keep sketching. Just ideate, sketch as fast as you can. All right, so you're rounding up your first 1 minute. All right, so moving on to the second one. Let's start up the second one. Second sketch. Just sketch. It doesn't have to look beautiful, or it doesn't have to look exceptional or super clear, but at least you should understand what you're trying to sketch. Right, you need to understand what you're trying to sketch. The idea needs to at least show, the sketch needs to at least show an idea. It needs to show what you actually mean or what you actually intend. Okay, so let's sketch. Let's sketch. Yeah, so this is the second sketch. We're rounding up the second sketch. So why is it called the crazy 8 method or the crazy 8 timer? All right, let's move to a third sketch. Why is it called the crazy 8 timer? Because when you see this countdown, this timer counting down, like it triggers your brain. It makes you ideate faster, right? Like it makes you not so conscious of what you are, mistakes you're making, or all of that. So the thing about sketching is it gives you the opportunity to actually make as many mistakes as you want, even before spending so much time in like putting all the colors, finishing all the design, then you now come back and say, hey, this not solving these as a problem. You solve all of that by taking your time through the ideation phase. Okay, it's very important, very, very important. So there's something called the worst idea when you're like sketching, right? Just sketch everything down. It's not necessarily, doesn't necessarily need to be great. Just keep sketching. Just keep sketching. Okay, so moving on to the fourth one now. Fourth box, fourth sketch. So just since you've pictured the friend site out in your mind, and you've also pictured, okay, the different pages you think you would have on your site, just keep sketching, right? Just keep sketching what you think, okay, those pages should look like. Oh, what should my login page look like? It should have this and this and that and this here and that there. Okay, oh, what should my input card details page look like? Oh, what should my artist page look like? Oh, what should my uploading of art page look like? So just keep sketching. All right, you have 8 sketches to go. You've done 4 now. Okay. Let's just keep sketching. I really look forward to you submitting like your sketches, right? So I have a look at what they look like. I would really love to see what they look like, what you were able to come up with. Okay, so yeah, I have you're on the 5th sketch now. Fifth sketch, fifth sketch. Fifth sketch, fifth sketch. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I know sometimes it feels as if you're stuck on one particular idea. Just drop it and move on to the next. Okay, so yeah, the major thing is to ensure that you don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. Try as much as possible. Think your way out of it. Ideate your way out of it. Catch your way out of it. Don't get stuck. All right, so we are on the 6th sketch. On the 6th sketch now. The 6th sketch. Let's keep going. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I hope we're sketching. I hope we're sketching. And I hope you're enjoying this. Just in the comment section, just let me know how this particular task went. Did you enjoy it? How many sketches were you able to make conveniently? And how many did you have to like force your way through like sketching? At what point did you get stuck? Was it after the first sketch, second sketch, third sketch? Right, just share with me what you think about this session. Okay. As I said, it's called the Crazy 8 method. The Crazy 8 method, it's a very nice way of ideating or sketching. Okay, so now we're on the 7th. We're on the 7th. On the 7th. We're on the 7th sketch. I hope we're all on the 7th sketch. I hope we're all on the 7th sketch. I hope we're all on the 7th sketch. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. We're almost there. We're almost there. Yeah, let's keep going. I know at this point you probably even get stuck, but as a designer you need to be able to ideate. Your ideation, your thinking process, being able to come up with things on the fly is very important. It's very important. Alright, so we're moving on to the 8th sketch, final sketch. The final sketch. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, the final sketch. Just think. Just think and I did. Oh, what should this product look like? What should this page look like? What should this particular idea, this particular screen look like? As I said, it doesn't have to look fancy, doesn't have to, the lines doesn't have to look straight. Yeah, just sketch. You just need to show how well you can think on the spot. How well can you ideate? Alright, so rounding up the 8th sketch. Rounding up the 8th sketch. Let's round up. Awesome, awesome. Alright, so we are, I believe we all have our 8 sketches. I hope we all have our sketches, our 8 sketches, okay? I think most of us, some of us should have, or all of us should have it, right? Because I gave a lot of hints along the way. I hope you enjoyed that. So let me know how that task went in the comment sections. At what point did you get stuck? At what point did you run out of ideas? And all of that. Okay, so next we are moving on to wireframing. Okay, moving on to wireframing. So let's look at that. Okay, so what is a wireframe? What is a wireframe? A wireframe is commonly used to lay out contents and functionality on a page, right? So think about the word layout. While laying out content and functionality on a page, which takes into account the user needs and the user journey. Okay, so we already know what the user needs, already know okay the user flow, the user journey. Okay, so wireframes are used early in the development process to establish the basic structure of a page before your visual design and content is added. So it's like taking for instance, like people that build houses, they draw the architecture of the house first, right? So this is what a wireframe looks like. It's to lay out, create a layout of okay, this is the layout of this particular platform, site, web page, screen, mobile app. So you're creating a layout that would lay out okay how your content should look like or how the functionality of the app would be like. Okay, not to say too much, let me just show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is what a typical wireframe looks like. As I said, it's laying out the structure. So you shouldn't pay so much attention to the colors, the text. You're basically working on the layout. Okay, so what should be where, this should be there. So picking up your sketches now and now making them into a wireframe according to what you were able to sketch out. Okay, now put them into a wireframe. As I said, a wireframe doesn't have to be all beautifully designed, but it's you're not supposed to spend so much time like making a wireframe because you're basically supposed to use that to be able to iterate faster without spending so much time, right? So when you create the layout, it's very important that you you get a buy-in from your clients or your stakeholders before you proceed to adding colors to your wireframes. Okay, so don't or to adding like content to your wireframes before moving to the hi-fi. You need to get buy-ins from your stakeholders. That's very important. You need to have that at back of your mind. So for wireframes to represent images, you can use a rectangle and two lines crossing each other. Okay, to represent text, you can use your rectangles. To represent icons, you can use like buttons, all of that. So it's as you see, we're not paying so much attention to okay what its exact text look like or all of that. So we're just like drawing out like the wireframe, the layouts. Okay, the layout. Oh, this is what the footer should look like. You should have text, icon. I don't know. We get that. Okay, so yeah, do we understand that? Okay, so yeah, so this is typically what a wireframe looks like. Thinking of all the pages you were thinking about, thinking of all the things you thought about and all of that. So this is yeah, this is like what your wireframe is about. So you can draw it out on paper. You can use tools like Figma. You can use tools like Miro, Balsamic, like different tools to draw out your wireframes. As I said, I won't be going so much into like detail, but I think we get the idea. Yes, so now the next thing where I'll be putting so much time or spending so much time is the hi-fi designs. So hi-fi designs is high fidelity as it's called. Okay, hi-fi designs is where you now pay attention to colors, or you pay attention to like some like text, images, and all of that, where you bring your design to life. Okay, So would be designing using wireframe. You will be designing using a wireframe. Okay, so I'll just start out the design from scratch so we understand this. So the first thing when designing, okay, the first thing when designing, I hope we're still following. Okay, I don't know if you have any questions, just put it down in the comment section. I would answer your questions. Okay, let me see and be sure that this is still recording. Okay, it is. All right, so the first thing you need to do, go to figma.com. All right, so Figma is spelled Figma.com. Figma.com. So on going to Figma.com, it should look similar to create an account. Okay, so create an account. Yeah, so after creating an account on Figma, you would see draft, and you see this plus sign beside draft, or you see this plus sign here. Either way, I'll be using this plus sign, right? So this plus sign, so you click on the plus sign to create a new file. Okay, click on the plus sign to create a new file. Most of the time you can just go with a blank canvas if you're not sure what you want to design with, or you can go with a desktop. Okay, you can go with a desktop. There are some other templates you can start out with, but as we're starting now, I'll be clicking on blank canvas. So that's what I would like you to click on and create file. So click on that and click create file. All right, I believe each of us have been able to do that. So go to figma.com, click on sign up, then create a new file. So here are some of the tools we're making use of. Okay, so we have the move and scale tool. Okay, we have the frame and slice, we have our shapes. Okay, we have pen and pens, we have text, we have comments. So the interesting thing about Figma and why I love to use it, because it's very collaborative. Okay, and what I mean by collaborative is that I can be designing here, I can share you the link, and from anywhere you are, you get to see what I'm designing in real time. Okay, Figma automatically saves my work to the cloud, and even now there's a new added feature of saving your work offline as well. So it's very fun to use. So that's why when it comes to like teaching, I use Figma, because sometimes there might be a need for all myself and all of my students to be on the same Figma file working on it like together. So yes, first thing we want to do is to create a new frame. So clicking on the frame tool, since we're designing for a web page, so we're creating a desktop. And since we might need to also design for the responsive screen, like the way to look like on phone, you can as well have your phone frame. Okay, so I used a desktop frame. Click on frame, click on desktop. You see desktop is in MacBook Pro, so I use desktop. And for the phone, I used iPhone 11 Pro /X. Okay, so I have my frames already. And if for instance you don't want to like select any of these frames, you can just draw out your frame. How we want it to look like. Okay, so that's creating a frame. To expand your frame, ensure you don't just click on any point and just stretch it out. To expand your frame, hold your command or control key down. Command for MacBook users, for Mac users, control for Windows users. So hold your command key down and then draw it out, right? It helps all your elements stay intact while increasing your frame size. All right, so I have my design, my frame. The frame houses all of your components. Okay, it's like the, I mean, like I say the foundation or the canvas that houses all of your designs. Okay, so now I want to make my header. I want the height to be 100. Okay, just follow me. Just follow me. Just follow me. All right. Okay, so before I proceed, all right, there's something I didn't do. Okay, so in doing your iFiles, you know we're gonna need colors. We're going to need to be sure of the fonts we want to use and all of that. So for fonts, I normally like using. There are a lot of fonts you can use. There's Montserrat, there's Poppins, there's Futura. What you can do is to search, right? Search for like different fonts that you could use. Okay. Search for different fonts that you could use. Montserrat. I'm trying to see. MONT. Let's see. Sorry. Okay, so Montserrat. Alright, so Montserrat. It's a nice font. I would like us to use. Ouch, it's too big. Okay, so for colors, there are like different ways you can get colors. So I go to Piccolor.co, Piccular. So Piccolor.co, Piccolor is like Google, but instead of like just searching for like anything on Google, Piccolor is like searching for colors, right? Searching for colors. So for instance, I search for art. Click enter. For instance, I search for art and I get to see like different colors I can use that would represent art clearly. That will make my art designs come out well. Okay, so this is it's very like important to have this at the back of your mind, right? So that when you start designing, you would know like, okay, what's like the choice of color should I pick for my primary color. So it's important you can use this tool. So I'll just go back to my designs. I'll just draw a rectangle. I'm drawing a rectangle. I'm changing the fill color to the color that I copied. Okay. Then yeah, in order to now get like which other color can I mix with it that would be able to complement it. So something called complementary color. Like color theory on its own is very elaborate. I won't be able to go in depth into it, right? But if you want to learn more, yes, definitely at the end of this video I'll be talking about like further classes and how we can get that. Okay, so yeah, this Peloton.com is like a color wheel, so it helps me It helps me be able to like come up with complementary colors that I can use on my designs. Okay, so I'm just going to click on this and copy it, and all right, so I have my text and I have my color. Okay, so for my frame, all right, so for my frame, my header, sorry, for my header I want it to have this primary color that I've chosen. Okay, yeah. Also, another thing we need, remember when we were talking about design elements. Okay, so we have typography, colors, we have layout. There's something called layout. So now I want to apply a layout grid to my designs. I want to apply a layout grid to my designs. So I'll just click on you see layout grid here. I'll just click on the plus. Okay, click on this dot or beside the grid. When you see grid, okay, click on the drop down and change it to columns. So let me do that again. Click on the plus icon beside grid. Click on this dot here. Okay, click on this drop down and select columns. So I'm going to change this to 12. Yeah, I think I've just used this 12. I'm not sure which one I used. So you can use 12, you can use, it's in there are a lot of things you can learn. All right, so just try to confirm what I used. Okay, 12. Right, I was pretty sure, but I wanted to confirm to 12. So just change your count to 12. There are a lot of things to still know about this, okay, but we'll just like go on with the flow. All right, so for my ruler, I use Shift R to bring up my ruler. Right, so this ruler is to help me like demarcate my layout. Okay, it just helps me so that I can turn off my grid system, so that I can turn off my grid. All right, so see this. All right, so let's continue. Okay, so according to my wireframe, I want to have my header. Okay, so let's see. Let's create that, my header. Okay, artistic. I'm just creating a random name for this. Let me use 24. I said I'll be using Montserrat. Okay. All right, so I have my logo. It's just going to be a text logo. Then all right, so this is going to be white. So I just changed the fill to white, F. So you can decide to use any color you want, any text you want. Okay, when designing, you can decide to use any of that. So to duplicate, you can use Ctrl D or Command D, depending on which OS you're using, and or you can use Shift Alt and drag. Shift Alt and drag. You see that when I'm using Shift Alt, it shows me the size or like the distance between the two elements. Control D, Shift Alt, any one of like the two works. Okay, so I have my home, I have my gallery, I have my artist, what else? Shift Alt. I have my artist, then I want to have my login, and lastly my sign up or register. My sign up. Okay, sign up, 2 words. Alright, so for my button, I create another frame here. Height to about 50. I want to make it white. Okay, so that's my button. And I want to make this text my color. Okay. Alright, I'm adding a border radius so my button can be curved a bit. Let me try it. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the size of this text. Okay, to select multiple items, all right, click on select one first. Okay, then you can hold your shift command key down or control key down and keep selecting the others. Right, so I want to change this to 16. To align, so you look at the top here, you have left align, center align, right align, top align, vertical, centers, bottom. So yes, to align, you're going to be making use of all that. I'm going to be making use of all that. Right, so let me just shift all of this. Oh, sorry, I didn't pick one. All right. To group some elements, you use Ctrl G to group. Ctrl G, Command G. Right, to group. You can use that. Right. To make sure like they're evenly spaced out, there's this thing called like distribute spacing. Okay, so you can distribute the spacing between them. To align, as I said, this alignment is very important. As I said, in design, alignment is important. Okay, so now this is my header. This is my header. What else am I looking at? Okay, now let's go back to our wireframe. Okay, so we want to have an image, then some text, and all of that. Okay. All right, so to have an image, you can either use the rectangle. Okay, you can either use the rectangle and then change your fill. Click on this fill color here and change this to image. Okay, so you can either use that. So you see that here that it was inside my header frame, so I had to bring it out of my header frame. Okay, so you can use that to create your image, or you can also use this place image tool here, and you select the image you want to place and bring it in. But I think I'll be using the rectangle because I want to use a plugin to bring in my image. Okay, slowly change it to image. Let me try 650. Alright, so when I said I want to use the plugin to bring in my image, so that something is called Figma plugin, and that's what I want to use here right now to show, okay, or to like design or to bring in an image into this. So I'll just right click. I'll see plugins from the drop down. For you, if you're just joining Figma, you probably not have any plugin. So all you have to do is go to more, go to browse plugins in community, browse plugins in community, browse plugins in community, and all you have to do is search for Unsplash. Unsplash, you can see it here. For me, I have it installed, but for you, you just have to click on install. So click on install. Okay, so once you are done, let's go back to our designs. So once you have installed Unsplash, so right click, go to plugins, then you should see Unsplash in your list of plugins. Unsplash, okay, Unsplash. So just wait a minute for the plugin to load. Okay, so that's what we're waiting for. Plugins. Unsplash. Sometimes, depending on your internet connection, it takes a while to load. Okay, it takes a while to load. So now it's running, right? So we're running on Splash. Okay, so what we need is art. So you can either click on art here or search for art. Okay, so I'm just going to click on art. So if you click on art, it's just going to find any randomized art for you and put it there. Let's keep clicking on it, like it picks or it brings to you a random artwork. But to search, I want to search for art. Okay, I want to search for art because I want to pick a specific art to use, and I will be picking this first one. So you can pick any one that you feel would make your design come out well. Anyone you feel make your design pop. So you need to the images you use on your designs are very important. When I say very important, I mean they are very important. Images used on your designs are very important. So you need to take note of that. You need to take good note of that. So you can use just pick anyone that makes you feel super comfortable, right? And make sure the design pop like really well. So there are thousands of designs to pick from. Also, take into consideration like the colors, the primary color you're working with, and all of that. It's important to have that at the back of your mind when you're choosing an image, right? When you're choosing an image to work with. So it's important to note that, don't forget. So I'm contemplating between this or this. I don't know which one works suitably for my design. This, okay, let me just go with this. All right, so we have this. All right, so we have this. Okay, so we see all these beautiful collect this. All right, so basically text, or type in your text, art, just keep typing. For me, I already have it written, so I'm just gonna paste it. Art is beautiful. I'm using Montserrat. And don't forget, I'm using Montserrat as my font. Okay, art is beautiful. To duplicate, as I said, Ctrl D. Alright, to copy, your normal Ctrl C. Works greatly. Okay, just come in here, Montserrat. Alright, so we see that our art is beautiful. It's not showing so well on our designs, right? On the image that we put there. Right, see that it's not showing clearly, so that's where contrast comes in. It's important to note all of these things that I'm talking about. Okay, important to note these things. All right, so in order to add a contrast, you can do something like this. Add a linear gradient. So I may not be able to talk so much about it, so much, but I believe you probably get the picture. Right, so this is a bit dark. Okay, so this might be a little bit too much. Okay, so we can make it radial in such a way that the different things you can do with this here. Okay, so it's you can spread it out, you can, so the major point that I want to achieve is to ensure that our text shows very clearly, and people can conveniently read it. Okay, so now compared to before, right, where people couldn't really see the text, I think it's a little bit better now. Okay, next thing, my wireframe, you have two buttons: explore artwork, start selling. All right, so I can just copy my button here. So I have explore artworks. So I want us to follow this. I would like us to follow this. I would like to see what you do, or what you come up with. Explore artworks, start selling. Okay, so this one, I want to change the color. Let's see. Use a white in here. All right, so I have my two buttons. I have my text. I'm just aligning them all together. So yeah, so this is something you can use. Okay, so as I said, different styles depending on what you want. Okay, you can create like different styles. It's your design, right? So just keep designing it. Okay, so yes, we have our header, we have our hero. So I'm just going to group all of this. Hero. Alright, so what's next thing now? We have our search. So how do you create your search? Sometimes you can just create either a rectangle or a frame. Any one works. Okay, create a frame. I want it to, then I'll add some effects, a little bit of drop shadow, right? And I'll add my search fields. I'll add my input fields. I have one. Okay, I'm using 50. Okay, I'm using 8. One, duplicate, same way, duplicate. And my button. I can just copy button from here and paste it here. Alright, so for this one, I'm going to change it to a struct outline. Okay. Then my text would say something like search by name, artists, then I can have one here that says choose category. Choose category. Alright, so for getting icons, there's a site called flaticons.com. Flaticons.com, you can just go there and get icons, or like I do, you can make use of plugins. So there's a plugin I use called Iconify. Iconify helps me in getting icons that I can use in my designs. Okay, and what I need a drop down icon. Right, so I've gotten my icon. I can also use a search icon as well. So this is also a good one. and there's a search icon too. Right now I can close this. Alright, so my search icon, reducing it to 20. So as a search, then you want it to be equally aligned. I know obviously I'll have to change the color. Let's see, 3 3. Okay, 3 3. Right, so we can group, align and group them together. Align and group them together. And this 3, align and group them together. Alignment is very important. As I said, alignments, align and group them together. So I have my search. Okay, so my search is ready as well. Yeah, so what next do I need to do? Next, featured artworks. Featured artworks. So how can we design featured artworks? Alright, first you need your text that would state the featured artworks. Okay, you can make the text 24. You can make it semi-bold. Alright, so in doing that, another thing you need to do is see that we have a button, right, that says view all. So let's put that here. View all. Alright, the button is not going to look like this. It's going to have a stroke instead of a fill. Right, it's going to have a stroke. The text inside of it is going to take my natural text color. Alignment is important. Right, so I have my featured artworks, view all. Alright, then I want to draw some rectangles, because those rectangles would be where my artworks would like fill into. 310. So just duplicating this. Yeah, this might be too big. Let me try 260. Okay. My curves needs to always be there. So I want this to be a scrolling thing. Let's align it. Don't forget to always align. So the name of the artworks, two pieces frame, Ali Michelle. So these are just like typical names you can put there. Let's use 16. Try my regular. Okay, try not to forget this. Alright, so I'm adding a name and the artist. So you can randomize it. Alright, so now to add my images. Okay, so I'm going to select all the rectangles, then go back to my plugin. Remember the plugin I'm using Unsplash. Okay, so I've selected all my rectangles, so I'm just going to click on art because I just wanted to randomly generate artworks for me. Alright, I don't like some of it, so I'm going to select those ones and randomly generate them again. Still don't like some. Randomly generate again. All right, so now I have my art pieces here, featured artworks. So I'm going to group this, going to frame it. Right, so that's featured artworks. Next thing I have for my wireframe, top artist. So let me just duplicate this. Shift Alt does the trick. So this is featured artist. Always try to rename your groups. Featured artworks. Then this is top artist. Okay, so we have the circles and this thing. For this I may want to change like the look, instead of circle. I think I can use the circles though. Let's see how well they would fit. All right, so if I'm having I'm not sure if circles. And then the name. So this is one. Control D. Okay, so I have to reduce the circle. It has to fit into. Then my text. 16. All right, going back to my Unsplash. So there's something called portraits. So you just want pictures of artists to show here. So Unsplash is very good to use. Makes your work faster, right? You don't have to spend so much time like looking for images every time. Alright, so I'm just going to search for portrait instead because I want them to have full faces. Okay. Changing this to okay, since we're probably designing for different market, African, Asian, European, right? You just have a mix of like everybody. Alright, for this one, let me look for a better one. Let's see. And just have a mix of okay, images. Getting the right images important. You need to always make use of like right images, right friendly images. Those are always important. Right, the background of those images too matter because they speak a lot. They make or mar your designs. Let me just put it that way. Images are important. We shouldn't overlook like images. I say if you have an image like this that is like going up on top of your designs and you don't want it to, all you have to do is change it to crop and move it down a bit. Change your fill to crop and move it a bit. Yeah, so it works. You can change the artist names. Okay, so there are also plugins that can help you randomize your text, like content wheel. The content wheel can help you like create content, right? Randomize content for you to like make use of. Content wheel can do that. Okay. Alright, I'm running content wheel. Alright, so what do I need on content wheel? I need names. So I need names, so you can just search for content and like it populates it for you. So network, nice. So as I said, there are nice plugins that can help a lot. They're really great plugins you can use that'll make you design faster. Yeah, so I want full names. Right, so you can see that it's as randomized all the names I have here. Okay, I want to do the same for this. So you see it's randomized all the names I have here. So those are like different things you can do with plugins. So instead of you thinking about okay, what should the name of this thing be and all that, right? You can always use plugins of Figma to like work on those things. Okay, so no art. I'm not sure. No name for artwork. Alright, that's the name. It's fine. Let's just proceed. Okay, so next thing I want to do categories. Don't forget to group. Also, next thing I want to do is next thing I want to have is categories. Alright, so in terms of categories, I want to use this nice layout. Okay. Too small one. One big one. Alright, so it's important to make sure they're of the same size. Let's try 600. 600 might be too much. I hope we're still following. I know it's taking longer than expected, but let's just keep following. 580. Okay, 585. Okay, 590. Let's see. Oh, good. Okay. 17. Let's see this to line. Okay. 17. Alright, then this one. Move here. Now my cups 8. Would 8 be enough? Let's try 10 and 20. Alright. So grouping this. Flipping it. Okay, so I don't know if you got how I did that, right? I'm just making like nice rectangles. Okay, right, and I'm going back to my Unsplash plugin. Plugins, more Unsplash. So art categories. So I'm just putting random images of art that's just to serve as my categories. Right, so these are like some things I can use to say, okay, art categories. Okay, let's see. I can decide to put your names at the top of them. Let me close this. So I have an F. All right, so as I said, it's always important to have like some sort of overlay on these things. Okay, so want this to be 0. Let's try 5%. Okay, let's make it a video. 10%, 30. Yeah, just at the center there. 40, 50. I'll try 30. I think 30 works fine. Okay, so we can have different like category names depending on what you want it to be. Alright, so this is one. You can create another one here for yourself. So just keep populating it. Oil. So like landscape. Alright, so not really sure of like different art category names. Alright, so just like that until you are done with them. Nature. Okay, so until you have completed category names, right, you can just have all that. Alright, you can add some more, you can randomize them with your design, make it yours. Okay, so as alright, so which other thing? I think for my own page, I think this actually works. Let me, what else do I want to do here? I think this works for my homepage. My footer, let's see, can just create the footer. The frame. Yeah, I'm not sure if I created a footer in the previous one. Yeah, I didn't. Okay, so I think yes, this is what like a footer would look like here. So this is typically like how to go about designing. You can complete the page like once you're done. You can complete the page once you're done. Okay, so for mobile responsive screen, I think that's the next thing I want to do. Okay, if I do that, so there's something called all right, let me just pick one page from my Okay, so I'm just picking one page from here. And yeah, my login page. Just let it become my Alright, so all of my text, I said I'm using Montserrat, so I'm going to look for every font that is not Montserrat here, and I'll be changing it to Montserrat. So I just want to show us prototyping. Okay, I want to show us how prototyping works. Okay, my button, I'll just pick one from here. Sign up. Okay, so okay, let's not forget I'm using 8. My text, I'm using 3. 3, 3, 3, 3. 3, 3. Okay. So I just want to show us like prototyping. Okay, so for instance, this is my sign up button. Okay, I wanted to prototype and come to sign up. Okay, I'll show us again. You click on prototype tab. You have these 3 tabs here: design, prototype, inspect. Then you see this is circle. All you have to do is just drag it to the frame you want it to go to. Okay, so then you can click on any interaction, how you want it to animate, all of those things. Okay, then my logo, I want it to always go to the home page. Alright, let me present prototype. I present your prototype using this present button here. Okay, present. So just wait for it to load up. Alright, another thing you can do, you can set your prototype settings. What device should you use, what background should be there, what should the starting frame be, and all of that. So let me rename my starting frame to landing page. Okay, so I'm just showing us the prototype. So looking at the scale options here, I want it to fit to width. So see, this is my homepage. Basically, this is how my homepage would look like. Okay, when anyone lands on the page, this is what they would see. Okay, then they would see this next. Okay, there's something called prototyping, and that's what I wanted to apply here. This scrolling, horizontal scrolling in prototyping. Okay, so if you go to prototype settings, you see scrolling, horizontal scrolling. What did this mean? Right, what this means is that I would be able to scroll through this element, scroll it to the right to see what's left, what's remaining, Okay, so featured artworks, top artist. Can we see all this? Categories. Okay, categories. Right, and my footer. So all of this is like, okay, so now what type is what my landing page looks like. Okay, then if I click on sign up, it takes me to the sign up page, so we can all see that. So that's how like typing works. If I click on the logo, it goes back to home page. Sign up goes back to my sign up page, right? So this is very exciting. I believe we've enjoyed this process. Okay, so last thing I want to features in the practical section is this mobile responsive screen. Know there are some people that would want to open this web page on their mobile phone, so that's what we want to look at now. So the first thing, the header. Okay, we're using the color 100. Okay, picking the logo. Okay, and then my menu, right? So my menu cannot be displayed on a straight line anymore. Right, what we can do is to put them in a menu bar. Right, so I'm just going to search for menu. I'm just going to search for menu and make use of that. I'm changing the color to white. Okay, let me try to make it 30. Oh, you know, the same way there's layout on the web, there's also layouts on mobile. So you can come column grid. Okay, 12 as well, or 14, anyone. Most of the time I just like using a distance of 20. So it's important to like know all this, like when designing. I so all my menus will be in here. Okay, what else? I can turn off my page. Right, so I have my rectangle. Okay, so some of the text might not be able to fit in here properly, so there are ways of like designing, right? You have to, so designing for mobile responsive scale screens take work, takes a lot of work actually. It's because you need to fully understand, okay, what are we dealing with, what exactly are we working with, right? And how to work on your font hierarchy to ensure that whatever you design would be suitable to look at on a web page or a mobile page. So we need to have all of those things in mind when we're like creating for a mobile like responsive screen. So I still at this. Always align, it's important. Always align. Okay, so mobile, what will the site look like, all of those things. So designing for mobile screens takes a lot of like learning, right? And you need to actually learn it because a lot of things would need to like adjust and change and all that and all that. Okay, so, what else? Now, last thing I want to talk about in the practical section is presenting your designs. So there's a way you're going to present your design that to make people think that, hey, this person, this designer has done a lot of work. For instance, I've only designed the landing page and my sign up page and not all of the other pages. But okay, how can you present this in such a way that people would want to ask you, okay, tell me about the process of your design and all of that. So how do I do it? I can create a frame, can use dribble short, and I'm going to change this to 1600 by 1200. Okay, 1600 by 1200. So I'm going to make the background my primary color. I'm going to copy my landing page design. So this, and I'm just going to paste it inside this frame. So there's something called scaling, the scale tool on Figma. And to scale means you want to reduce the size of whatever you want to reduce proportionately, like every angle should change in size. Okay, let me give an example. Take for instance, this is my landing page. If I decide to just reduce the size as I like, okay, it's just going to shrink up everything I have, right? Not proportionately, okay. But in order to do this, so that everything you have reduces in size equally, right? You can press your K key on the keyboard, or you can just click on scale from here. Once that is pressed, sorry, once you press your K and on scale, reducing it, right? It's going to reduce in size equally all around, right? So it's reducing the elements inside. It keeps the shape, like everything in shape, keeps everything in shape. So that's what we'll be using here. All right, so let's go back to our frame. Inside the frame, then we'll press our scale key, letter K. All right, and we would have this here. Then you can duplicate it using Command D, Control D, and just increase or bring this to the top here. Right, so as I said, it's important to know, be able to, how do I call it now, present your work in such a way that people think, hey, you've done an amazing job. Okay, it's important that you can do that. There are different ways of presenting your design. Okay, so now I want to make this look or have some form of shadow. All right, to do that, I'm just going to draw a rectangle. I'll take it to the middle. I'll make it black. Then I'll add an effect to it, like a background blur. Let's see, 100. Right, it's not really doing so much. Okay, background blur. I'm wondering if background blur will work, or I can just use a inner shadow. Okay, let's see. Inner shadow, reduce this a bit. I'm just trying out different things. So the major focus is like I want to make this first design look like it's protruding, like coming out. Yeah, I want to make it look like it's popping. That right word. Okay, I just want to add some shadow to it. All right, let's see. Still looking a bit. All right, let me just try and remember. I'm just trying to remember what I. Okay, all right, let's go back. All right, so first I used the color I was using. Okay, then I added a drop shadow 30, black 30. One, let me use 200. Okay. Yeah, I think it's getting there. All right, okay, so let me adjust this a bit. But if I turn this off, you see it goes away. If I turn it on, it's back. If I turn this off, it goes away. If I turn it up, it's back. All right, my y-axis, let me see. My axis is, let me try 4. All right, so I think, yeah, I've been able to make it pop a bit. So that's pretty much what you can do, right? And so you can export your design. So art, digital, marketplace, and once you've renamed it, you can select it. You go to, if you look at the right hand side, the properties, you will see export. If you click on the plus icon there, okay, you can select file type. I think PNG is fine, and export. If I click on export to say exporting and to download the file for me, I can just open it up and see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like after exporting. All right, let me go back. That's for exporting. For sharing the file, you can click on share. anyone with the link, you see anyone with the link, right? You can copy the link, okay? Copy the link. Anyone with the link can view, okay? You can copy the link and can share it with me. You can share it with me on the comment section. You can share it with me via email. I know this tutorial was a bit lengthy, masterclass was a bit lengthy, but I believe we have learned a lot of things, and I'm really looking forward to see what you would create for yourself. I'm really looking forward to see what you create for yourself. All right, so presenting your designs, we've done that. So creating a portfolio. Okay, so once you've downloaded your designs, okay, how can you create a portfolio? So there are sample sites you can use to create your portfolio. As I mentioned before, Dribble is spelled Dribble. You can create a Dribble account or a Behance.net account, and you can upload your work. Now, you don't necessarily need to have a website to before you can say you have a portfolio. So as you keep designing, you can always post your work on Dribble, and you get a personalized link that you can share with people whenever they ask for your portfolio. You can also use your Instagram page as your portfolio. Some people do that, and yeah. So now getting your first UI UX job. For me, getting my first UI UX job, I started out with an internship, and then after I built my portfolio using that internship, right, then I started applying to places. Okay, so I think the first thing is being able to learn and building a solid portfolio. Once you've been able to build a solid portfolio, then you can start reaching out to people. But before you're ready, while you're working, while you're still learning, you need to start creating a solid network. LinkedIn is good, Instagram is good, and social media network is good. Let people start seeing your design process or hearing about your design process is important, right? Start building your credibility, start building your network early, even before when you actually need to start applying for the job, right? So yes, so start building all of those things on time, right? While you're learning and while you're building your portfolio, it's important. So when you're ready, then you can now start applying for different jobs. And to be honest, most of the jobs come based on recommendation. So if people see how great your work are, they'll recommend you to another person, they'll recommend you to another person. So it's important to have all of that at the back of your mind. All right, so we're supposed to have a blush challenge where we create something exciting using the blush plugin. So there's a plugin on Figma as well that's called Blush. I use it for my illustrations, but seeing that we didn't really create any like illustrations on our design project, right? But anytime you want to create some nice illustration project or some website or app that need illustrations, you can always try out the Blush plugin. Okay. So for further classes, I know a lot of people have been asking me, okay, how do I go about getting further classes? Yes, so I'll be talking about further classes in the description below. If you're interested in having further classes, you can just read the description below. I'll be putting the link and every other information you would need. I actually have both a physical class and an online class, depending on which one you would prefer. There's an online course and there's also a physical class, depending on which one would be more convenient for you, right? So you can just look at the details in the description below. If you have any questions, if you want to submit your project, you can always share them with me. Share the link with me in the comment section or via email. As I said, I'll be dropping my email address. I hope we enjoyed the class. I really hope we did. Right. Okay. So for the physical class, yeah, I was giving it at 50,000 naira. It's a physical class every Saturday, 1 month. So for those that are staying in Lagos, Nigeria, and want to attend, you can always attend this. For those that are not staying in Lagos but you want me to come and train you, in your location, you can always reach out to me as well. Then, as I said in the description, there are you'll see other links in the comment section. So here you can connect with me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Oluwadamlola Shoyombo, _, and reach out to me if you need any training tutorials. If you like this, I want me to do more of this. Okay, just reach out to me if you have any questions. So here is my email address, eloadamshuyembo.com, and here is also my personal phone number if you would like to reach me. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I hope we are going to practice and come up with something. Okay, I look forward to seeing your work. Anytime you share your work, just don't forget to tag me, and I'll be there to comment on you and give feedback. Well done. Thank you for watching.